Well, today in our Adventures of Prosperity, we are going to be continuing our discussion about the importance of the will. So I want to share with you a couple passages from chapter 9. Hey, Bodhi, there's Bodhi. Chapter 9 of The Science of Getting Rich with Wattles. This is the book that we're using every morning, Monday through Friday, in order to support us in living a life that we would love to live. A life that of loving what we are being, doing, and having. But in order for us to do that, we must rise above the trance. We must wake up from the trance of scarcity, which so many of us have been seduced or hypnotized into this trance of where we begin to measure what is possible for us based on what we can see around us, our externals, by the circumstances, what stands around us, the conditions, which if an acorn had decided that based on its circumstances or conditions, its shell, it would never be able to, it would believe that it wasn't possible to be the oak tree that it really was. And that's the same thing for you and me. We are contemplating these principles of prosperity. Right now we're using Wattles in his book, The Science of Getting Rich, in order to wake us up from this trance that where we believe that the shell determines, our past is determining what is possible for our present and our future. And so we need to wake up from that. And that's what we're doing every morning as we spend some time contemplating these prosperity principles. So today we're going to continue talking about the will. If you're new to these videos, my name's Alan Vukas, and today I'm just going to read a couple passages and share with you the importance of using the will and thinking a certain way. Wattles tells us if we want to get rich, and rich is however you define it, whatever prosperity and abundance. What does an abundant life look like to you? That equals rich. If it means more love and more creativity and satisfaction in your work, if it means more money, that's wonderful. And I believe money is necessary. We need money in the world that we live in right now. The way that our system of economy operates, money is an important part. So if that's part of your rich, the vision, the coherent vision that you have of a life you would love to live, then yes. But in order for us to be rich, however we define it, it requires us to think and act in a certain way. And in order to do that, the will is important. And so chapter 9, yesterday we'd started embarking in a conversation around the will, but let me, what I want to do with first is actually start with the last sentence of this chapter, how to use the will. He says here, and this is how we use the will. He says, use your willpower to keep your mind off the subject of poverty and keep it fixed with faith and purpose on the vision of what you want. So will is their ability to exert power in a certain way to choose what you're thinking about. And what he says here, we need to use our willpower to keep our minds off the subject of poverty or what's not wanted. Those things that we worry about, those things that we regret, those things that we wish we had done, that is poverty in our example, in our life. Poverty is thinking or imagining or worrying about the unwanted. Rubik's Cube, I call it Rubik's Cubing. When you are lay awake at night and you're trying to think your way out of the situation, that is your mind is on the subject of what is not wanted. And he says, use your willpower to keep it fixed with faith and purpose on the vision of what you want. What would you love to be, do, and have? So I want to read you one other passage and why this is important. And I think when you get this, then you will see why this is so vital, why doubt, why worry really doesn't support us. He says on page 60, he says, use your mind to form a mental image of what you want. And we've talked about that over the past couple weeks, and especially over the past week, on what would you love to be, do, and have in those 4 areas that I had mentioned: health, relationships, your creative vocation, and also your time and money freedom. If you have other areas as well, of course, but what would you love and why would you love it? Be specific on the what and the why. The specifics of what it looks like to you, not the how to get there, but the what you want, and then also what is having that or being that or doing that going to cause you to feel. That becomes your why. And when you have a clear image of that, and over the course of your life, I mean, as far as having an image of what your life would look like, use your mind to form a mental image of what you want and to hold that vision with faith and purpose, and use your will to keep your mind working in the right way. The more steady and continuous your faith and purpose, the more rapidly you will get rich, because you will make only positive impressions upon substance, and you will not neutralize or offset them by negative impressions. What does he mean by an impression? What he's talking about is any thought of form. If you have a image in mind, now it doesn't have to be where you have a clear image, or when I say the word vision, that when you close your eyes, you see the red you walking down the red carpet and them interviewing you, and it may not necessarily be. You may not be a visual person in that respects, but the concept, the idea, the clarity of what it looks like, then that is a thought of form. When you are worrying about something and you are imagining and coming up with all the ways that it couldn't work or how it could go wrong, oh, what if this happened? Or all the what ifs, what if this happened? Or what if that happened? Those are thoughts of form. And when we have thoughts of form, then that becomes impressed on this formless substance, this field of intelligence of which you and I are a part, this ocean of love intelligence, that becomes impressed on that, and it immediately goes into action to bring it into form. So do we want the images? Do we want the what ifs? Do we want, look at Bodhi, yes. Do we want the what ifs to be impressed on the current of our life? And then now that is something for us to have to, when we're worrying about something, and when we're planning for it not working, when we are making it real, then it's almost like Don Quixote with the windmills. We set up we make something real so that we can tear it down. And why create in our minds these negative impressions in order then to undo them? This is why he talks about in this chapter not to be talking about poverty or the unwanted stuff, not to be spending time in doubt and worry, because it actually moves us backward, because we have added to the mix of our life, the stream of our life, we have now added another thought of form. And it may be unwanted, it may be negative, but we don't want to neutralize the vision of what we would love. But here, let me just share with you this. And to me, he explains how this works and why we don't have to be efforting in such a way to try to coerce and convince other people of why they need to support us, or why life needs to support us in the being and in the doing and the having of this vision. He says here, on page 61, oh, well, let me continue. The bottom of 60. The picture of your desires, this vision, held with faith and purpose, is taken up by the formless. Yeah, we know that. That's what we've been talking about. And it permeates it to great distances throughout the universe, for all I know. As this impression spreads, all things are set moving towards its realization. What impression? The impression that you make with your thoughts. Thoughts become things, and how they become things, they are impressed like a cookie cutter, impressed on this divine cookie dough, this formless substance. But that impression spreads. Why is that? There's only one field, this one love intelligence. There's no more God or spirit or source there than there is here. And when you know something as true, or as you impress it, that thought of form here where you are at, it is instantaneously known throughout the entire field. By it, it's a holographic universe. By you knowing and holding that as true, right here and now, present tense, I am so happy and grateful. As you know this right here now for you, it is known throughout the field. And you may ask, well, how is that possible? Well, because spirit, source, this field is beyond time and space. How do I know this? Because time and space applies to things that are material and physical here in the material world. But when we are dealing in the realm of thought, it is beyond. It is metaphysical. It is beyond the physical. And spirit being beyond time and space. Deepak Chopra talks about this non-localized consciousness, this non-localized reality that exists beyond time and space. You and I, that part of us, our spiritual aspect, our thinking aspect, is beyond time and space. Let me give you an example. Right now, if you were to, in a moment, you are faster than the speed of light. If you were to think, what did you have for breakfast yesterday? And just in that moment, you transport yourself in mind into a memory of something in time that is beyond time and space. Here in this time and space, you are now inhabiting another time and space. So spirit, this formless substance, is beyond time and space, and since for it to know something is in one place is to know it everywhere, and it is knowing it by means of you. And so as this impression spreads, all things are set moving towards its realization. Everything within this field is now being influenced by the tapestry of it all. We are one, and as something is woven into the tapestry, the entire tapestry is transformed. Every living thing, every inanimate thing, and the things yet uncreated are stirred toward bringing into being that which you want. All force begins to be exerted in that direction. All things begin to move toward you. The minds of people everywhere are influenced toward doing the things necessary to the fulfilling of your desires, and they work for you unconsciously. And it's not that they're working for you as an individual, but they specifically as you or as me, Alan Vukas, but they are working for life. Everything is in this current, in this ocean, and as the current of the ocean changes form, the waves begin to move in that direction. This is why it's so important for us to use our will to, and tomorrow I'm going to be sharing with you some specific things that you can do to support yourself and maintaining positive impressions on this substance. He says here, but you can check all of this. Check it. You could stop it. You can stop it in its tracks by starting a negative impression in the formless substance. Doubt or unbelief is as certain to start a movement away from you as faith and purpose are to start one toward you. I hope this underscores the importance of using our will. Having a vision. If you write it out, I have a vision statement, and most of my students and my clients that I'm working with have a clear vision statement. Because how do you know that your good showed up if you're not even sure what it is? So at least have an idea. And so having that vision and impressing that and moving in that direction, doubt and worry of its opposite or of unwanted, the law does not care. When I refer to the law, it's this spiritual law, this law of the creative process that acts on whatever it is that we set into motion. Call it cause and effect if you like. The law of mind. It receives the impress of our thoughts. And so we need to use the power of our will to turn our head once again. When we are noticing that we're looking over there, that's what we don't want, we can turn our head, use our will. And the importance of that is because whatever we're impressing, it is known everywhere, and everything is set in motion then to bring that into form. How exciting is this, knowing this? So tomorrow I'm going to offer you some things, some very specific things to support you in using your willpower. Because believe it or not, studies show that willpower is actually a finite resource within us. We only have so much willpower that we can use every day. So and then when it's used up, poof, it's gone. Until you go to sleep and it's recharged. So how can we most effectively utilize our willpower to support us in living the life we would love? Tune in tomorrow's Facebook Live, and I'm going to share with you some specific things to help you with that. But let's just anchor what we have learned today in prayer. And I invite you to join me in knowing this. I know right here and now that there is only one power, one presence, and one intelligence, and it's all around me, it is in me, it is moving through me. In fact, the truth is, it is here as me, and it is here, I know this, as you as well. There is only one life, one mind, one power, and it is expressing by means of each one of us. And I know that it is expressing by means of this word that I am speaking right now. It is impelling and compelling me to set the law into motion, and what I set into motion right here by way of this word that I speak for us this morning. What I know is that there is only right action in this field of love intelligence. I know that it is working out my highest good and your highest good at each and every moment, regardless of what it looks like what we're looking at right now. But what I choose to know is that it is working out my good, and that I don't have to convince that power. I don't have to convince God or some deity or life in order to bring me my good. What I declare and know right here and now is that life is wanting to bring more good to me and quicker and faster than I have allowed it to up to now. But what I declare and know is that I release any resistance to my cooperation with life, my collaboration with life, my co-creation with life, the vision that life has inspired me to want, to be, do, and have, that I am in full agreement with that, and I release any ideas of mistakes. I release any ideas of mishaps. What I know right now is that this law, this formless substance, this divine intelligence, it knows not only what to do, but how to do it, and it is doing it in my life and your life right here and now. There is only right action in my life and in your life and in all of our affairs. I declare and know that right here, today, that this vision is a reality. The vision is a reality in the mind of God, and everything is working towards its full manifestation in our experience. I'm so grateful for this. I'm so grateful that I don't have to make it happen, that there is already a law. It is already in motion, and it is a reality in the mind of God, and it's a reality in my mind and your mind. And we just allow this to be by saying, and so it is. I look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's video. Remember, tomorrow I'm going to share with you some specific things to be aware of in utilizing your willpower in the most effective way possible to support you in continuing to move in the direction of the life you would love to live, your authentic life. Peace and love. Namaste.